Welcome to the Curious Head channel. Here you will find a variety of interesting facts and amazing stories on a variety of topics. Subscribe now so you don't miss any updates. February 2023. The night was not peaceful for a family from the Tem province, located in western Equatorial Guinea. In the early evening of the 15th, a 21-year-old young man was struck by a severe headache after returning from his family's small cornfield where he had been working all day. Over the following days, the headaches progressed to weakness, discomfort, vomiting with blood, and diarrhea. Additionally, he began experiencing intermittent fevers, reaching just over 40 degrees. 3 days after the first symptom, the young man named Tadu Martinez had a seizure, and within less than a week, after multiple seizures with a body temperature close to 41 degrees, he passed away. During the same week, while Martinez was recovering, another 45-year-old man who worked in the same area as the young man also fell ill with the same symptoms. However, he did not survive for more than 3 days. Due to the symptoms, healthcare professionals suspected a new Ebola epidemic, which had already affected not only the country but also the western region of Equatorial Guinea. However, the deaths didn't stop there. 2 other people, who didn't work in the same location as Martinez and the other victim but had been hunting in the jungle for days, also died. Just a week after acquiring the initial symptoms, similar to the previous cases, it was enough to start conducting tests to confirm the possibility of a new Ebola outbreak in that African region. Ebola is a virus that causes hemorrhages, organ failure, and can lead to death. Humans can serve as vectors and spread the virus to each other through contact or bodily fluids such as saliva and blood. Initial symptoms include fever, headache, muscle pain, and chills. Later, the person may experience internal bleeding, leading to vomiting and coughing up blood. Treatment primarily involved palliative care in hospital settings, as there wasn't much that could be done. According to Médecins Sans Frontieres, Doctors Without Borders, Ebola is one of the most deadly diseases, responsible for killing over 90% of those who contract it. The first occurrence of this disease was in 1976 with simultaneous outbreaks in regions near the Ebola River, which gave the virus its name. At that time, research pointed to fruit bats as natural hosts, which are quite common in the region. Depending on the strain, the fatality rate varies from 25%, which is rare, to over 90% of those infected. In December 2013, a major Ebola epidemic started in Guinea, located in West Africa, and then spread to densely populated urban areas in neighboring countries Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. It was first recognized in March 2014, infecting thousands of people and causing an approximate mortality rate of 59%. It is estimated that 2,800 cases were reported, resulting in 1,300 deaths. Infected travelers spread the Ebola virus to Nigeria, Europe, and North America. Ebola cases continued to occur in the first 2 months of 2016. Sierra Leone was declared free of the virus in March 2016, Guinea in May, and Liberia in June of the same year. In 2017, a small outbreak was recorded in a remote region of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and who declared the end of that outbreak on July 2, 2017. In May 2018, another outbreak occurred in Congo, but this time the control was more complicated due to its widespread distribution across 3 provinces and the presence of dozens of hostile armed insurgent groups, which made case identification and contact tracing difficult. Treatment centers were established and equipped with local and international healthcare professionals. By the end of 2019, the Ervebo vaccine was approved, and by June 2020, it was already helping to end another epidemic in West Africa. A second 2-dose vaccine, known as AD26-19, was approved and put into use later on. Meanwhile, a second Ebola outbreak occurred, this time in the Equateur province, which ended in March 2021. A small outbreak occurred again in the North Kivu region and was quickly controlled. In Guinea, there was a small outbreak in a localized area believed to have started with the wife of a man who had recovered from an Ebola infection 5 years earlier but was suspected to have transmitted the virus to her. Persistent infection and late transmission were suggested by the fact that the sequenced virus was remarkably similar to the outbreak in West Africa 5 to 7 years prior. Now in 2023, Equatorial Guinea has seen the return of an almost forgotten virus, which, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, has all the symptoms very similar to Ebola. This virus has a name, and it was precisely this virus that infected and killed 9 people in less than 15 days in the Intim province in February of this year. By mid-March, there were 16 more suspected cases, all presenting symptoms such as fever, fatigue, vomiting with blood, and diarrhea. Marburg causes hemorrhagic fever and can be as lethal as Ebola, as it has a dangerous infection rate and is highly contagious. As soon as the host bat eats a fruit and deposits its feces or even lands in a certain location, the risk of contamination already exists. By coming into contact with the fruit or the area where the bat landed or defecated, a person can become infected and, through contact or bodily fluids, infect another person, and so on, like a domino effect. The most dangerous individuals are still the asymptomatic ones, meaning those who do not show the main symptoms of the disease, as they can go unnoticed across borders and airports, thereby carrying the virus to other destinations. The concern of the WHO and thousands of health-related institutions is not unfounded. Let's imagine the following scenario: a wealthy equatorial businessman, asymptomatic and unaware of what he carries in his body, needs to travel to New York, USA, but before that, he will have a layover in London, England. Just think about the number of people who would come into physical contact with this businessman, breathe the same air as him, and occasionally, his sneezes. How do you think this would end? After all, we are talking about a virus that has an even higher potential for contagion than Ebola and is equally deadly, I must say. Is the Western world prepared to receive such a virus? To begin with, it would be a completely new virus here, and citizens from countries in South America to North America do not have antibodies for it. The scene that is currently in use in African countries where there was an outbreak may not be as effective for us. The same can be said for Europeans. So yes, if the Marburg epidemic becomes a pandemic, the coronavirus may lose its reign as the most lethal in recent years. The close cousin of Ebola was first detected in 1967 in Marburg, Germany, hence its name. It spread to Frankfurt in the same country and from there reached Africa with sporadic cases reported in Angola, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Kenya, South Africa, and recently Equatorial Guinea, where it turned into an epidemic. Extensive monitoring is being conducted in that part of Africa, and the WHO hopes to control the outbreak in the coming months. Thank you for watching, and until next time, big hugs, bye.